Release testing and system testing. So far, we have discussed what is release testing and what is system testing, and we have an idea about those concepts. That is, what is meant by release testing and what is system testing. Now, we shall see how these release testing and system testing are related, or how the release testing and system testing are different. So, release testing is a form of system testing. The main differences between this release testing and system testing are: first thing, a separate team that has not been involved in the system development should be responsible for release testing. And second difference is that system testing by the development team should focus on discovering bugs in the system, that is defect testing. Then the objective of release testing is to check that the system meets its requirement and is good enough for external use, that is validation testing. So, release testing means it is a form of system testing. The main difference between these two testing are: so release testing is a form of system testing. The difference between these two testings are: first thing is, to perform release testing, a separate team will be there. Its team members should not be involved in the system development. So, the release testing should contain team members who are meant for release testing only. They should not involve in the system development. Those team members will perform the release testing. Next, development team performs the system testing. Coming to the release testing, it is a separate team will be there to perform the release testing, and those team members should not be involved in the system development. Whereas system testing, it is performed by the development team. System testing focus on discovering the bugs in the system. So it is a defect testing. System testing is also called as a defect testing. Why? Because it focuses mainly on discovering the bugs in the system. Whereas the main goal of release testing is to check that the system meets its specification, whether it satisfies the customer requirement or not, and to ensure that the system is good enough for the practical use. Since it is validating the system, here the release testing is also called as the validation testing. We can also say one more difference, that system testing is a white box testing, because you will be checking the code over there, whereas release testing is a black box testing. Why? Because you test the specifications has been met or not. You will test the customer requirements has been satisfied or not. You will test the features of the software. So these are all the difference between the release testing and the system testing. In summary, release testing is performed by a separate team members who are all not involved in the software development, whereas development team performs the system testing. Then system testing, it focus mainly on discovering the bugs, so it is said that it is a defect testing. Whereas release testing, it focus, that is, it checks that the system meets the specification or not, so it is a validation testing. Then we shall see performance testing. Performance tests usually involve planning a series of tests where the load is steadily increased until the system performance becomes unacceptable. Stress testing is a form of performance testing where the system is deliberately overloaded to test its failure behavior. Performance testing is a part of release testing, may involve testing the emergent properties of a system, such as performance and the reliability. Test should reflect the profile of use of the system. Performance testing consists of a series of tests in which the load of the system is increased until the performance of the system becomes unacceptable. Here, a stress testing is performed. Stress testing is a form of performance testing where the system is overloaded to check the failure behavior of the system. Here, stress testing is trying to identify the exact point where the system performance fails, where the system becomes a failure. That is tested in the stress testing. So performance testing consists of a series of tests in which the load of the system is increased until the performance of a system becomes unacceptable. So this is done by using the stress testing where it checks the exact point that's where the system actually becomes the, that is where the performance of the system actually becomes a failure. That is called as performance testing. So far, we discussed really the difference between the release testing and system testing and performance testing. Thank you.